Good morning. Welcome to the Dave Fox Home Remodeling Show. We're really glad to have you tuned in this morning. Here we are, February 7th, Jamie, already in February.
Amazing.
Yep. So it's Gary Demas and Jamie Broslovsky here with Dave Fox Design Build Remodelers, and this is the Dave Fox Home Remodeling Show. And I'll bet a lot of you have heard the little plug during the day, if you listen to WTVN, saying, listen to the Dave Fox Home Remodeling Shows every Sunday morning at 8, blah, 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 whatever.
And here we are.
Yeah.
This is it.
So we had a little free giveaway for that, didn't we, Jamie?
We sure did.
Yeah.
Last week we got a bunch of emails. Thank you everyone for reaching out and sharing with us how you heard about the show.
Uh-huh.
And you should be getting those, have either gotten them already or should be getting them here at the beginning of next week.
Okay, and that's the Dave Fox tape measure.
That's right.
Yeah, and people were excited to get that. So they can measure their rooms and figure out that they need to add some space on, and then they'd call us and do that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Did you put a little spell on those tape measures so that?
Yeah, I rubbed some crystals around them.
Subliminal messages and all that. Okay.
All those secret marketing tactics.
So all of you people getting the tape measures, watch out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome aboard this morning. So last week, Jamie, we talked a lot about flooring, and that's just a really down-to-earth topic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very grounded topic.
It's grounded, yeah. So really, it's a fascinating subject. There's so many different types of flooring out there, and so we covered a lot of that in depth. So if you happen to miss that, you can go to davefoxradio.com, and that's really easy to remember, right, Jamie? davefoxradio.com.
Yeah.
And there you can download or listen to right there live on the spot any of those previously broadcast shows, and some of them are videotaped. So we invite you to do that. If any of you ever have any questions about our show, our company, anything, just email us at info@davefox.com, and we will respond to your message. Jamie will respond to your message. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So Jamie, today, what's our topic?
So today we're talking about features that you don't want to forget in your remodeling project, or even if you're building a home, or really any project in your home. There's those little niche features that someone's like, I really wish I woulda, or just things that you and I have come across over the years that have been really cool that people have done in their homes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great topic, because there are a lot of things that people think about along the way. And of course, we've been doing this a long time and have had a chance to live through that experience with a lot of different people and families. So there's, I'm sure, quite a list of things, and maybe some of the people listening this morning are thinking about doing some remodeling, or maybe they're going to do a second or third remodel. Mm-hmm. And when you do your first one, you realize that as time goes by and as you see things materialize, you get new ideas.
Yes.
And sometimes you want to change things, and we hate that, but we love it.
Yeah.
It's a disruption for our schedule, but we know that we're here to really serve the people of the city, and we want to make sure they get what they want. So we are very happy to make changes along the way, and that happens often just because people come up with ideas that they think about as they see things materialize. But also, just little extra things that they want to add along the way help us to kind of discover new things to talk to our new clients about, and say, hey, have you thought about this and that? Because Mrs. Jones, she had a similar kitchen and it worked out great. So we're here to offer that kind of experience. And
yeah, and I also think too, with remodeling, one of the things over the last decade that I've probably learned the most about remodeling that is so cool is when you're building a whole house or moving into a house or things like that, there's so much to do. Mm-hmm. And with remodeling, especially when you're just doing one project at a time, you really get to hone in on those details, on every little drawer and what's going to go in it and so things like that. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason why we don't do new builds, because we specialize in the details. Mm-hmm. And spending that time and dedication to think through, okay, in this drawer, what are you going to hold? Mm-hmm. And how can we best accommodate it? Do you need an outlet in that drawer? Do you need this specific thing in that drawer.
Yeah.
That kind of detail in every little square inch of a space never could go into an entire home at once. And so just that level of detail with the features, I think to me, it's one of the most special and cool things about remodeling, just
That's
how
a great
custom.
point. Yeah, I hardly agree with that. People focus on a room or two or three, and they just have so much more time and typically more money to focus on that. When you're building a whole new home, and we've never really taken that on. I mean, years ago I used to toy around with it and think, wow, it'd be great to build some new homes. And what I did is I talked with a few people that were wanting to build a new home, and typically when you're building a home, especially if you're younger, you want as much space as you need, and that usually eats up your budget.
Yeah.
And there's just not room in the budget to do anything extra. But when you've been in a home for a while, or you purchase a used home that needs a few things done, then you can focus on, like you said, that room or two. You can spend more time thinking about what you want to do there. You typically have more budget to spend on those rooms and really make them special.
Yeah. Definitely. But that's always been for me one of the things with remodeling, especially like the way people customize the kitchen, especially for the way they really live and cook and function every single day. So, the idea of having that coffee bar and with the exact measurements to fit their coffee machine under the, under the upper cabinets, or maybe you don't have upper cabinets because you have a really big machine and you want to be able to pour the beans in without sliding the thing out,
Yeah.
For me, I make a smoothie every single day. Never fit every single day. At least once I make a smoothie. And they make smoothie machines are 17 or 18 inches, which makes no sense. But just those sorts of details to think through some of those features.
Yeah, I did the same thing in my kitchen because I'm a smoothie guy. And like after a run or a workout, I like to make a protein shake. And so when I designed our kitchen, I have a smoothie bar. Okay, so I've got a little,
Perfect.
I've got a little bar sink, and I've got the counter space right there. And my wife pretty much lets me have that area. Occasionally she moves in, but she's pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And that I'm thinking too about working with homeowners, with clients, and when you're working through a remodeling project, a lot of times, not so much recently, but in years past, people would kind of put handcuffs on themselves, and they would say, well, I don't want to do that because it might, it might detract from resale value or this or that. And people were afraid to do anything perfectly for themselves because they thought maybe the next owner wouldn't like it. But that's kind of gone away, and I'm glad it did, because really it's your home, for crying out loud, right? And you want it to serve your needs and your family's needs.
Yeah, I know. I think, and in some ways, I almost think the pandemic is really put an exclamation mark on that. And just that it's your home, it's your everything, it's your every single day. When it functions poorly, it really matters. And when it functions well, it really functions well.
It rewards you every time you use that feature. Yeah.
I mean, just little things we've done in our home even, which are very minor, just the difference is outstanding.
Yep. Personalized to your individual tastes.
That's right.
Okay, so we have time for one thing. What can we talk about here for a second?
Let's go
before the break.
Okay. So we're talking about the kitchen. So let's talk about your smoothie area.
Okay.
Since you brought that up.
Yeah.
So what types of changes did you make to that area to accommodate your smoothie machine and the sink and everything like that?
So I've got space in the countertop, and I made sure, because my smoothie machine is about 17 inches, and it's made to just slide under an 18-inch space.
Yeah.
So I've got that taken care of. I've got the little bar sink, and I've got just the right amount of counter space so that I can pull all my smoothie ingredients. I've got a cabinet above where I keep all the smoothie stuff, the protein powder, the goji berries, all the stuff I put in my smoothies.
Sure.
So I can just pull them out, put them on the countertop, make my smoothie, put them back in my cabinets, and...
You put things away, Gary?
I do, yeah. I would get in trouble if I didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
But then after my smoothie's made, I can clean it up right there in the bar sink. I just stay right there and do my thing, and it's a lot of fun.
That's perfect.
Okay. So we are talking about features not to forget in your remodeling project. We're going to take a quick break. Jamie, we'll be right back. And welcome back to the Dave Fox Home Remodeling Show. I'm Gary Demas, and I'm here with Jamie, and we are talking, Jamie, about features to think about or not forget when you're thinking about remodeling, right?
That's right.
Okay. So,
Okay, so we talked about your smoothie bar.
smoothie bar.
Yes, that's a good feature.
Okay.
I'm going to add that to my dream kitchen wish list.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So another feature that a lot of people like to add to their kitchens is an instant hot. If you're a tea drinker or just are constantly, using hot water, things like that, an instant hot at your sink is a nice feature that a lot of people like to use. They also have a lot of faucets now, kitchen faucets, well, not a lot, but there's some that are really cool. They have right on the faucet, you can change to be instant hot, regular water, even sparkling water, filtered water, things like that, that I think is, that's a really simple change that can really impact things. Now, to get the filtered water, if I'm not mistaken, Gary, you need to have a unit under your sink. Is that correct?
Yeah, under your sink or under the floor system too would work. There's you can do it either way. If you have a reverse osmosis system, that's usually not under the sink. It's usually, if you have a basement underneath or a crawl space or something, it would usually be under the floor. But either way, and with the Instant Hot, the nice thing about those is really the only space you really need that you can see is just another extra hole for that little spout on your sink, and that's
Right.
really easy.
Yeah.
Because that unit would mount right underneath your sink, so it's out of the way. It has a pretty small tank because you don't usually need gallons of instant hot water, right?
Yeah.
So it might, I don't know if it holds maybe a couple quarts or something. So it's just pretty easy to hook up. You got to run some electricity to it, and you've got your water pressure that you would run to it. Easy hookup. Not super expensive. It's a really nice little thing to add, especially if you do like hot water for tea or coffee or hot chocolate, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know my mom is a big tea drinker, and they have an instant hot. She sometimes wonders if it's quite hot enough for her tea, for the optimal tea level, but she said it's so worth having to not have to think, if she wants tea, she just turns the little spigot on and she has tea, things like that. Another thing that we've had some customers want for Instant Hot is with their shower. Everyone's experienced that where you turn a shower on and wait and wait and wait for it to get hot, and then you
That's
get
what
in
I
and
do.
you're like, oh, it's still cold.
Yeah. Turn it on and come back in about 10 minutes and see if the water's hot. Yeah, there's actually a couple ways to deal with that. One is, like you said, there is a recirculating system for your hot water line. So it's fairly expensive, and you need to do this either right when you're remodeling, when things are tore open, or when you're building a new home, because you actually run two water lines. So you run a water line that feeds that fixture, and then it returns and comes back to the hot water heater. And then there's a little recirculating pump that just keeps that water flowing all the time. So that way, the water's always moving. It's always getting reheated as it goes through the hot water system again. And it just forms this continuous loop. So you're burning a little more energy that way, and you're running that water, just continually through that loop. But the advantage is when you turn hot water on at that fixture, so if it's your shower fixture in your master bath, then you've got instant hot water, and you don't have to wait for it.
Yeah.
So that's one way. It's pretty expensive if you have to get into walls and run another water line, if you're remodeling.
Okay.
But if that's important to you, maybe a better way is using one of the faucets that's designed to do that. So they're wireless. So I know Moen has one of those, and I'm sure other brands do too. But you can have a little app on your phone. So you might just be waking up in bed, and you just activate your faucet, and it'll start running until the water reaches the hottest temperature, and then it pauses. So it kind of spends, it spends that waiting time running the water and getting it ready for you as you're getting ready to get into the shower.
Okay.
So that's another idea.
Does it actually turn the water on, or it's just like getting the water there?
The faucet actually turns on. The water's flowing in your shower.
While you're sitting in bed on your phone?
Exactly. And then when it reaches the right temperature, it just pauses and waits for you.
Oh, well, that's awful nice of it.
Yep, that's another way to do it.
Yeah. Is that, do you tend to run, will you eventually run out of hot water though still?
Not if you have a tankless hot water heater like I have.
Oh, well, gosh, all the fancy stuff. I can't wait to grow up. I know. It's so fun. Okay. So, another area that sometimes even just an extra water line in general is nice. Like you mentioned at your smoothie bar, you put in a sink to accommodate kind of the water needs for making a smoothie. We've also run water lines directly to where people have their coffee machine.
Yes.
Which is a really nice feature. Everyone to wake up and fill the coffee. You sometimes do it wrong if you're really tired. But to run a water line right to a coffee bar or something like that, we've done that a lot too in a kitchen area.
Sure. Especially if you've got 2 cooks or if you entertain a lot. My wife loves to entertain, and I'm glad she does because I like to too.
Yeah.
So when we have a lot of people over, an extra bar sink or faucet in the kitchen is so helpful. And come cleanup time, there's always, somebody's going to come in and pitch in and kind of help rinse the dishes off and get things ready.
Yeah.
So having an extra sink is helpful for so many things. And it's not outrageously expensive to do that. You have a little more plumbing involved. You've got to run water lines and drain lines. So you do have some expense involved, but if you have a really large island or a lot of counter space and you entertain a lot or you cook big meals or maybe you have 2 cooks in the kitchen, very worthwhile.
Okay. Good. So is there anywhere else in your home that you added a water line or added an extra besides that sink that you are really glad you did?
Yeah, guess where?
Where?
In my little guitar building shop in my basement. I have a utility sink down there that comes in so handy for so many things.
Okay, so while you're building, you can kind of rinse stuff or whatever?
Yeah, I can clean up things or wipe things off or who knows what. Fill up my humidifier so I keep the humidity level right, all kinds of things.
One thing I've always toyed around with doing is adding a second washing machine.
Yeah.
Like getting a stacking washer and dryer and then having a separate washer just to be able to wash 2 things at once. Because I don't dry everything, especially like my clothes. I don't dry everything, but we have so much laundry being a family of 5. It's insane amounts of laundry between all the towels and the sheets. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And toddlers are messy eaters. I feel like every meal they need a whole new outfit.
Okay, and you're probably just like my wife. If I wear a shirt for 10 minutes, she won't let me hang it back up in the closet. It's got to go in the washing machine. So.
Yeah, the dog towel is like one of my biggest peeves because it smells instantly. So I want to wash that thing every day.
Yeah.
And my husband will dry off the dog even coming in with all the snow and put it back in its basket. I'm like, no. It can't put a wet, bundled up towel back in there. You got to put it in the washing machine.
Yeah, and this is just a perfect example of tailoring your remodeling and your needs and your special features to your family and your lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about. It's very important.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, what else you got on the list here, Jamie?
So I would say another big one, and we might not have time for this one completely, but let's start on it. Additional outlets.
Okay. Outlets. That's a great point. And, I would say not only how many you have, but where they're placed. Because how often have you been looking for an outlet to plug the sweeper into, and it's always behind furniture, and you can't get to the stupid outlet because it's behind your furniture. So you have to have a really long power line to go way over to the far corner of the room where there's an outlet that you can get to, right? Does that happen to you?
Yeah, that definitely does happen to me, especially... It's funny, in our kitchen area, we have kind of where our table is, there's curtains, like floor-length curtains, and the outlets are always where there's like a bundle of the curtains, and it's so hard to move them all out of the way.
Yeah, the curtains
to get it there.
Yeah, so placement of outlets is important, and the number of outlets you have. So we're going to take a quick break, Jamie. After the break, let's talk about that a little more.
Okay.
And we are back, the Dave Fox Home Remodeling Show, and it's Gary and Jamie. And Jamie, you are our marketing director at Dave Fox.
Yes.
Just in case you didn't know that,
I am.
That's what you are. Okay. And I'm the president, not of the United States, but just of Dave Fox Remodeling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we're really glad to have everybody tuned in this morning, and here we are on our 3rd segment already.
Yeah.
We're talking about features when you're thinking about remodeling. If you're just tuning in to our radio broadcast, if you're thinking about some remodeling, there's some important features you should consider, because what we've done over the years, Jamie, is we've learned we learn from our clients. We find out going through the process, the things that they think about along the way and ideas that they have. So obviously we remember that for the next client and talk to them about it.
Yeah.
So we've got a whole list of these things that we've run into just through personal experience working with people when they're remodeling. So we were talking about outlets. And there are codes for outlets. For instance, by a door, you can't be more than 4 feet away, and they have to be no more than 12 feet apart. In the kitchen, it's different. You need a lot more. They can't be more than 4 feet apart, or not more than 2 feet from a sink. Just different ideas or requirements like that.
Yeah.
But even if you put in all the outlets that the code requires, for some reason, we like to put them right where you would put a big sofa or a big chair so that you can't get to it.
Yeah, well, in a way, if you think about it, the outlet requirements are also, sometimes what you would follow with furniture. You wouldn't put a piece of furniture 2 feet within a door either. Or, it's like you would put it 6 feet from a door maybe, and that's where the outlet goes too.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of line up where things are supposed to and not supposed to go. But the additional outlets outside of the code, I think, are the ones that you don't always think about in the time, but they can just make such an impact.
Right. And I think the spots to think about are close to a door or close to an area where you're not going to have furniture, because then you can get to it. When you're running your vacuum cleaner, you can find an outlet to plug it into.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to plug in. Now, it's nice to have them behind a couch for your table, your sofa tables and lamps.
Yes.
So that's fine. You plug them in ahead of time, you move your couch in place, you don't have to mess with them anymore.
Right.
But there's a lot of times when you need an outlet for whatever reason, and it's nice to have a few that you can get to that aren't buried behind furniture.
Yeah.
Right?
So what are some of your favorite extra outlets? Like in a kitchen?
Oh, in a kitchen? Honestly, I think the code requirement works pretty good because you can't be more than 4 feet apart. So there's usually a good amount of outlets in a kitchen.
I've always liked when we put them inside of a drawer.
Oh, okay.
We have, our spoiled children, they each have an iPad, and then I have an iPad, and my husband has an iPad. So we have so many iPads, and the charging for them, they're always on the kitchen counter.
Yeah.
We always have these cords and the charging for them on the kitchen counter, and it drives me nuts. So I would love like a tech drawer to have an outlet in that all the tech stuff, and when you're charging your phone, everything like that could go in the drawer.
Yeah. We have put those in. Honestly, they can be a little problematic because you've got that motion all the time. That cord is expanding and contracting, blah, 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 blah. And occasionally we've had just a little issue with those, but we do put them in for sure.
Yeah, I could see that. One of my other favorite places for additional outlets is inside of a pantry.
Definitely.
So for me personally, I keep my Dyson hand vac in my pantry because we have an outlet in there, and I also keep our microwave and our toaster in there because I don't love stuff on the counter. But having an outlet in there is awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of places to bury an outlet. In my master bathroom, I've got a corner cabinet on my vanity. So I've got an outlet in there, and I've got like the phone chargers and my toothbrush charger. Oh, nice. So all that stuff's out of the way, and it's really handy. Yeah. And also the outlets with the little USB ports built into them are super for those locations. Yeah. Now for those, can you get just the plate, or does it require different wiring? It doesn't require different wiring, no. No, so you could buy just one of the... You can replace an existing outlet with one of those, no problem. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Good. They're very handy. Yeah. Another place I personally like to have an outlet is inside my closet, because I steam my clothes opposed to ironing them, and I like just having the steamer plugged in instead of having to bring everything out into the bathroom or bedroom or whatever. Yep. So that's another good outlet feature. Great. But, as we're talking about this, it reminds me that when we're doing remodeling on a project, one of the walkthrough or one of the quality control meetings we have is right before the wiring is run. So let's say somebody's building an addition, and so the addition's all framed up, and
we bring the clients in that room and we talk about where the outlets are going to be, where the light's going to be, where the switches will be, because they're actually looking at their real room then, and it's easier to visualize. And there's always little changes that we make based on their personal preferences.
Yeah, that's a great meeting to have. And, we always encourage our clients to spend a lot of time thinking about that too, even ahead of time on, the flow through the home, so where the light switches go and things like that. One thing I read that I thought was a really cool idea was to put a light switch next to your bed for your bedroom.
Oh.
So you don't have to turn off all the lights and it be pitch black while you
that's a great idea.
find your way to the bed. And I thought, oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I always go turn my lamp on next to my bed and then go turn the light off and then come back to bed. But boy, it sure would be nice to have that light switch there.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. All right. So some other kind of neat features that we've come across or seen. Some of these related to remodeling, some of them not. But one thing is we all have a hose spigot on the outside of our house. Most of the time it's just cold water though. But I think having hot water is a really great thing to add on too, to a hose spigot, especially if you have large pets that you want to wash outside. For us, we're constantly filling up baby pools, kids' pools, and water slides and slip and slides and things.
Yeah.
They sure would appreciate something besides ice cold water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I always think that's a good tip.
Yeah. In my garage, I've got a hot and cold line, and that is really handy.
Do you?
There.
Yeah, it's interesting. When we built our house, and at the time anyways, I don't know if it's changed. At the time, there was a code that we couldn't put a hose spigot in our garage.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I kind of wish now we don't have one like near the driveway, and whenever we want to wash the cars, we need like 3 hose attachments to get it to the driveway. It's
interesting.
Did not thought through, but yeah. So some other fun things that we do, which I feel like now have almost become a staple in a kitchen, but like a trash pull-out drawer, and those just make so much sense. Especially, I've seen some of them where the trash pull-out also has the storage for the trash bags. Which is really nice, so when you take the trash out, the bags are right there. You don't have to go somewhere else to get them. Things like that.
Or you can do like I do, just put a few empty ones in first. And
in
then,
the bottom one, yeah. Yeah, do you put actually the trash bags on, or you just put the ones at the bottom of the trash can?
I like throw 2 or 3 or 4 in the bottom and then add another bag over top. So then when you pull it out, you got the one right underneath.
I always do that with with crib sheets on for the kids, because if they like have a blowout or something in the middle of the night, you don't want to change a crib sheet in the middle of the night. So I always put 2 on, so you can just take one off.
That's not
Same
a bad
concept.
idea.
But yeah, another good tip in kitchens is just thinking through some of those small but large kitchen appliances, like a food processor or your coffee maker, your toaster, and kind of creating spaces dedicated to those larger items. A lot of people have those large KitchenAid mixers. They're very large, they're very heavy, they take up a lot of space, but some people use them, weekly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you've got like the mixer cabinet where you can pull up your mixer. My wife loves hers. She just absolutely loves it. Or there's the appliance garages. If you've got a lot of counter space, you can have appliance garages built into the kitchen plan, and that works really well. And you can have outlets, in those appliance garages. So you just pull a mixer out or a toaster oven or whatever.
So smart.
It's plugged in, ready to go. Okay, we've saved our best for the last segment, so we will be right back. And welcome back. We're glad to have you here on the Dave Fox Home Remodeling Show. I'm Gary Demas, and Jamie Broslovsky is here, and we are talking about features to think about when people are remodeling, right, Jamie?
That's right.
Okay, and we saved the best for last. So if you're just tuning in, you lucky people, you get to hear the very, very best features, the hottest features of 2021. How's that sound?
All right, let's do it.
Is that okay from a marketing point of view?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're
perfect.
on the edge of their seats.
Okay. All right, so are you going to start this list off?
Okay, let's start. Let's talk about heated floors first.
Heated floors. I love heated floors. They are amazing.
Amazing.
Yes. I have one in my master bathroom, the tile floor. I'm on the second floor, and my bathroom, like many second floors, the outside wall cantilevers 2 feet out over the lower floor. So it's just more floor that's exposed to like weather we have right now, frigid temperatures outside.
Yeah, it's not warm out.
So in my floor, I've got a a air tub. My wife likes to use that a lot. So I've got like my main bathroom floor, and it goes into the toilet room. All that's heated. It's so wonderful. And then the air tub is kind of out in its own little wing. And when I ordered the material, I actually got the wrong heating coil. It wasn't quite big enough to do my whole floor.
Okay.
So I hate it, but I love it. Now I know how to compare the two instantly. So last night my wife and I were in the bathroom. It was in the evening and it was cold out, and I walked over to the window that was right there, and the floor is like ice. Okay, it's a tile floor, and we were just commenting on the difference because we were in our bare feet, and that floor is like ice, and in one step where it's heated, it's like so cozy and so warm and comfortable.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine our whole floor being that cold, which it would be pretty much if I had not put heat in that floor. So the comfort level for a heated bathroom floor, tile floor, is just, I can't tell you how wonderful it is.
So I'd say then you recommend it.
And even in the summertime, when it's cooler in the morning or the AC's on and you just get up, your body's kind of getting some metabolism going. It's even comfortable in the summertime to have it a little bit warm.
I know we've done it too in like a sunroom kind of space as well, which is really nice. I mean, you have that and a fireplace going, and you've really got a nice cozy space there for you.
Yeah. So heated floors, are they expensive? I don't know. Maybe, let's see, if you did it in a fairly large bathroom, you might be adding $2,500 to the cost.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, that's
maybe $3,000.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you,
for long-term comfort.
It is. If you're thinking about it and not sure whether to do it, listeners, do it. You will not be disappointed.
And then there's some little things with heated floor, right? You can't put a rug down on top. Is that correct?
You can put small ones down.
You can put small ones.
You don't want to put a large area rug over it. But like we have small little rugs in front of our lavatory bowls. Okay. And then one in front of the tub.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's no problem. And it even gets those warm, and they feel good too.
So is it pretty tech savvy in that like you can set a schedule on it, or is it always warm?
The thermostats are completely programmable. There's like 5 different time periods per day that you can set up. So you can pre-program that thing for every day of the week, or you can.
So before you get up in the morning and before you go to bed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
so ours are all pre-programmed, just like our house thermostat. So it just runs by itself, and you don't have to worry about a thing.
That's amazing. Technology is amazing.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about more technology.
Okay.
Let's talk about motion sensors.
Okay.
And that's kind of moderate technology, but
so for like a light on-off control?
Yeah, for all the lighting in your house. There's a lot of technology behind that now, with not only the motion sensors, but with apps and programming and everything like that. So do you have any features like that in your house?
I've got some motion sensing lights, only in places that make sense. So I think a laundry room is a good area to put a motion sensor. When my grandkids were living with us, in the basement, there are certain rooms that they would build Legos in. Yeah. And they, of course, would never, ever turn a light off. So I put a motion sensor in there, which worked great. Yeah. I wouldn't put them all throughout the home. Yeah. Because sometimes you just don't want certain lights on, and it's as you're walking in a room, if you have the proper amount of switches. So if you have a switch by every way going in and out, it's really no problem to flick it on if you want it. But in areas where it's just handy, like in the laundry room, you might be carrying a bunch of laundry in there, and you don't have a free hand to turn the switch on. Yeah. So it's just the sensing your motion will turn the switch on. Yeah. Or even areas that you're in and out of a lot, like a pantry, is a good spot to have a motion sensor. I agree. That'd be a great spot. Yeah, definitely. And those too, you just take out an existing switch and put one of those in, and that's it. You don't have to, nothing, no special wiring. Easy peasy. All right. Yeah, I mean, even thinking of light switches real quick, my
dad was an electrical contractor growing up. And so he was really into the lighting in our house. And he put in these master kind of hubs. There was one upstairs by their bedroom.
Yes.
And then one downstairs leading into the garage.
Yep.
And they had a master all off button. So it would turn off all the lights in the house.
Yeah.
When we would leave the house, we hit that. And then before they went to bed, they would hit that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was actually pretty smart, especially you consider that was, I don't know, early 90s in that house. So pretty good technology for that day and age.
That would have been done with running a whole lot of wiring through the house.
Yeah.
Where now you can do that wirelessly.
What's some other good kind of lighting tech you've seen?
Well, what kind of interests me, or is I'm a little bit surprised about, is there's so many smart features in homes today, and really some very exotic equipment. You can do anything you can imagine, but we really don't have much call for them. Not a lot of clients seem real interested in that stuff at the moment. So I'm sure that'll change over time, but right now, it just surprises me a little bit that there's not more interest in that.
So with room additions, that's another area that sometimes kind of features and things like that can be questionable. How do you gauge the size of a room addition and where to put things and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I've experienced pretty much the same scenarios over and over again for all the many years I've been in remodeling when working with clients. The typical scenario is we'll go out and talk to some folks, and let's say they want maybe they want to expand the size of their kitchen, or maybe they want to add a family room, or maybe they just want to kind of blow the back out and do some multiple rooms. Almost always, they're thinking they need to add more space than they really do. Like they may be thinking they have to go 14 feet or 16 feet back in the kitchen.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of kitchen.
And maybe 6 feet or 8 feet will actually do everything they need to do.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. They usually think it takes a lot more space. So you can't really tell that until you actually lay the kitchen out and design the space, or lay the family room out, and then compare it with other rooms in their home so they can get a feel for what they're actually looking at. Because you don't want more to heat and clean and all the expense involved in a big space if it's not going to be put to use.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I know sometimes you think of a measurement in a home and then you realize, or like a kitchen, for example, you realize that the kitchen you have is only 14 feet. Like, do you really need another 14 feet? It's funny, even just measuring what you already have kind of makes you realize, like, oh, okay, I don't really need to double this necessarily to get everything I want. But
and another funny thing, when we're actually building those spaces, so there's kind of some optical illusions that occur during an addition. The first one is when the foundation is dug, so you've just got this hole in the ground where the footers are. You will look at that and you will swear that is way too small.
Yeah.
You'll think there's no way on earth that's going to be big enough.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, even I will look at it and think, oh my gosh, if I hadn't known from experience, I would think this is not big enough.
Yeah.
Then all the framing goes up, and then you think it's way too big. I mean, it just really feels that way.
Yeah.
And then when the drywall goes on, you're looking at the real thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's funny.
Jamie, it's been great. We got to head out of here because we're running out of time. So we will be back here next Sunday morning at 8.